right, man. Appreciate everybody for checking back in. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. I didn't talk about Rockets in Portland. Sorry. Couldn't get around to it this morning. But, hey, it was still a good game last night. Congratulations to Melo, who was balling. But Iverson went live with Fat Joe. Fat Joe kind of got like a show thing going on Instagram. And it sounded like Allen Iverson picked LeBron as the GOAT over Michael Jordan. Let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. He said, I love Mike, but LeBron is the one. He the man. And personally, Allen Iverson is my favorite ball player of all time, and it's not really even close. He revolutionized basketball. For these dudes that had tattoo, cornrows, locks, wear what they want to wear, Iverson took a beating for that, and that's one of the reasons they didn't let Iverson get a ring. And also his attitude, but I don't believe LeBron James to go. A lot of guys don't. Kenny J. Smith, Charles Barkley, a lot of guys that's been around, but you know what? LeBron is the man. You know what he's done on and off the court. It's not disputable. He is somewhat in that conversation. I mean, you look at Kareem. I mean, a lot of dudes that's been kind of underrated. Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal is somehow overlooked. Shaquille O'Neal might be the most dominant big man in NBA history. You know what I'm saying? With brute force. I think Will Chamberlain, he didn't win a lot of championships, but you know, neither did LeBron. All right, he was like, Will Chamberlain is the greatest athlete in probably sports history, to be honest, at least in American sports history, man. Look him up, you know, bench press 500, run or what? I forget what his 40 was. It was amazing, 48-inch vertical. He was, you hear the stories about Arnold Schwarzenegger, you hear the stories about, you know, him catching passes on the football field and him being better than Jerry Rice on the football field. Will Chamberlain, you would think he was a folktale hero. You would think he was Robin Hood, or you would think he was you know, I can't remember what I was about to say. I was about to say another dude named John Henry, excuse me. You'd think he's like that, man. But you know, that's Iverson's opinion. Do I necessarily agree with it? No. The wins and losses, you can't be the GOAT when your wins and losses is 3-6. Can't. Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, you know, he got the stats, he's scoring, he assists, he all around a good player. You know what I'm saying? He reminded me of what Grant Hill probably could have been had he stayed healthy. He was in a better situation than Detroit running him in the ground. But, you know, personally, you know, that respect his opinion. LeBron's a great ball player, but, you know, when you appreciate somebody that's poetry, that's actually in motion in front of you, you tend to overrate what he's doing. You know, LeBron is phenomenal. Coming out of high school, he looked the part physically, he can get to the rim, he can score it. But what kills me is kind of what kills me with James Harden is that people got quick memories. They quick to hit that reset button. You know, remember the old gray and purple Super Nintendo had the reset button right in the middle or on the side. You push it up, you reset the game, or you push it down. That's kind of what they got with LeBron and James Harden. Every time LeBron has a shortcoming or James Harden have a shortcoming in the postseason, they forget it. Like it never happened. Like, oh, he's still the greatest. And you can't win. That's like one of the major requirements as being the greatest of all time is winning. Mike wasn't considered the greatest of all time because he could fly through the squad, he could dribble. He was considered, you know, exciting. But when Mike started winning, he won 1, then he won 2, then he three-peated the first time. Then people started putting him in that conversation. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. It's about winning. Wayne Gretzky, you know, if he didn't win Stanley Cups, he wouldn't be considered that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, when you're talking about team sports and even individual sports, winning is the key. They thought Tiger was going to shatter Jack Nicklaus' major record. That's what they was putting him as in the GOAT category for. You have to win. You can score all the points. There's been so many great players that put up so many great numbers. Jerry Rice put up some phenomenal numbers. You know what I'm saying? Nate Tiny Archibald put up some phenomenal numbers. You know, it's been a lot of guys that put up phenomenal numbers and scored 30 points a game, and T-Mac was one of them, but they didn't win. And LeBron has won some, but if you telling me 3 out of 9, that's terrible. You know, but you talking about attribute for attribute, you know, is he better than Mike? No, not to me. But the beauty of it is everybody is entitled to their opinion. Allen Iverson is my favorite player of all time. That's his opinion. Do that make me say, well, I'll never support Iverson again or F Iverson? Hell no, it's his opinion. My Iverson was the most, you know, one of the most transcendent athletes in sports. What he done as far as off the court, you know what I'm saying? And you know, if you want to say LeBron the GOAT, it's no right answer, to be honest. Bill Russell got 11 rings. There's no right answer. And people be trying to prove to people and say this, that, and the third. Oh, look at here, this, that, and the third. He did this, that, and the third. Oh, look at this stats and this, that, and the third. You're not gonna change nobody's opinion. And what grinds my nerves is when younger guys that don't know the history of whatever they talking about, maybe rap, baseball, basketball, shit, Civil War, they don't know the history. They try to argue up and down. Like, Mike was truly a dominant guy. You know what I'm saying? He was the guy that take the big man away. That's who did it. If the narrative at the time, you had to have a Sam Bowie, a Ralph Sampson, a Akeem Olajuwon, a Patrick Ewing, you know, a Will Chamberlain, a Bill Russell, a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If you didn't have a big center, you wasn't going to win a championship. Michael Jordan changed that. Michael Jordan didn't have a Shaq. He didn't have a Kareem. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have a McHale or Parrish. You know, and the only other guy that won a championship that didn't win it, you know, in that time span without another grade A big guy was Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. They're the only ones that didn't win it. That one, you know, you can look at the 80s. It was the Boston and the LA every time. You know, you look at other than a couple times, Houston made it, I think, early in the late 80s or with Akeem and Ralph, and then late 80s, Isaiah made it. But you go through the 90s, you know, the 3 championships, you know, that Jordan wasn't a part of and didn't win was Akeem Olajuwon twice, and then it was David Robinson and Tim Duncan. You go into the early 2000s, it was basically the Lakers, the Spurs, most of the time. You know, and then Kobe still had Paul Gasol. You know, they had KG in Boston. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, without another all-star big guy, it just doesn't happen. It's truly an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? And Coach Jordan was a guy that really took it from a big man's league to a guard league. That was the beginning. You know, but at the end of the day, he entitled to his opinion. You know, Allen Iverson knows a lot about basketball, but when you living in the moment, I think people tend to overreact. Because we talking about what Jordan did. Man, you talking about shit over 3 decades ago almost. So it's easy to forget and downgrade what he done because you ain't seen it. When you living in the moment is always overrated. You always tend to forget everything outside the moment. So another LeBron gonna come in there and they gonna say he was better than LeBron, and his fans gonna say, oh no he wasn't, he did it. So we'll see, man. But hey, respect Iverson's opinion, respects everybody's opinion that can articulate it or that makes sense in the moment. So let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. Check out NBA Talk playlist. Don't forget, if you want to make a donation, Cash App, PayPal, description. Shout out to the brother Ed. He made a donation, PayPal. That link's in the description. Cash App, CJ Good 313. Best way to donate for me personally is to share the video one time for the one time. And don't forget, you can check out my Detroit channel, Murder City Sports Talk. We talk about sports news, mainly Lion, Pistons. That's what I talk about. So check me out over there one time for the one time. We gone.